everybody. Thank you for joining. Today is the second last day of our virtual Braj Yatra 2020. And I would now like to invite His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to kindly come on this virtual stage and begin today's Katha. Hare Krishna.
Om Mokyantimidandasya Gyananjana Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudhe Deve Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I am sincerely grateful to be among the assembled devotees today. Vrindavan is the ultimate goal and aspiration for the members of the Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with his associates, the Panchatattva, it is described they came to break open the treasure of prema bhakti, of pure ecstatic love for God, for Krishna, to taste the sweetness of that love and to distribute it without considering who is fit or who is unfit, without considering a particular place or a particular time or a particular situation. In this age of Kaliya, this benediction has been given to each of us. Srila Prabhupada took this blessing of Lord Chaitanya to every town and village, striving to reach the whole world. And he has entrusted this gift to each and every one of us. when we receive the valuable blessing of spiritual truth and the opportunity for spiritual realization, the responsibility comes to receive it sincerely and also to share it with one another and with the world. Interestingly, I have spoken to many devotees, to my very esteemed God brothers, God sisters. And although so many are locked down and restricted in ways never before, so many are telling that the amount of people that they're reaching and the quality in which they're reaching people is also like never before. This is very much a testimony that Krishna consciousness is never deterred by external material situations. Krishna's in our heart. Krishna's in everyone's heart. And if we're seeking the opportunity to serve, to be instruments of Sri Krishna's compassion, then Krishna will reveal those opportunities. Sometimes it's not without struggle. It's not without pain. But that's the very nature of a sincere devotee, is beyond struggles and pains. A devotee does not give up. In our sadhana, our own spiritual practice, and in assisting the mission of our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, and the Vaishnav community. So here we are in so many places in the world, having our Vrindavan Yatra. And for some of us, it's really not the same, where we can mix with so many devotees and be taking the wonderful prasad that is prepared every day, and actually physically going to so many of these wonderful holy places. The atmosphere, the mood, it's like an ocean of wonder to be in a holy place like Vrindavan. But the feeling of absence, the feeling of pain, separation, when it is interpreted, digested, according to the teachings we've been given and the sincerity of our heart, those pains and those feelings of absence are transformed into realizations. And those realizations lead us to genuine, pure devotional service. When we're on our deathbed, we don't really know what the particular situation may be, what our particular consciousness may be, what the circumstance, perhaps not even where we may be. But we know for sure, if in our life we're sincerely taking a shelter of Krishna, in every situation we can have complete faith, and we could be happy to know that we are with Krishna and Krishna is with us. Konteya pratijani hiname bhakta pranashati. Krishna promises, I'm always with my devotee. I will always be to protect my devotee. And how Krishna protects could be in so many ways. It could be physically, could be emotionally, but ultimately it is always spiritually. If we seek shelter, if we're living in harmony with what pleases Krishna as the servant of the servant of the servant, if we are taking shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the holy names of the Lord, the beautiful form of the deities and the Vaishnavas, we can know for sure that whatever may come in the future, whatever is happening in the present, we are in Krishna's hands. Theoretically, these things are not so difficult to understand, but we're put in difficult situations so that we could actually dive deeper into the sense of necessity that yes, this is the truth that awaits me. Krishna's Rasa Bihari. He's the most perfect lover and the most perfect object of love. And this is eternally manifested in the spiritual world of Goloka. But it's also very much a reality for the devotees who are in this material world, who are aspiring to reach the great Karuna Sindhu, the great ocean of kindness, compassion, and mercy. The Krishna consciousness movement is Lord Chaitanya's gift to give us this opportunity. In Vrindavan, Goloka, in the spiritual realm, beyond all of material existence, beyond Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, Krishna is forever performing his pastimes. That same Goloka manifests here in this world as Gokula. The scriptures and our acharyas tell us they are non-different. We were speaking of Sanatana Goswami. While he was living in Vrindavan, he wrote many literatures. Among them is the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. There, he explains the glories of pure devotional service. He takes the very essence of the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and reveals it through incredible histories. Gopa Kumar was a resident of Vrindavan, of this world, who had this deep yearning and longing to find the highest truth, to experience the deepest love for God, for Krishna. And through the association of great souls, through the chanting of sacred mantras, and through the sincerity of his heart, he was taken to so many holy places in this world. He was taken to the abode of Brahma, the abode of Shiva. He was taken to the abode of Narayan and Vaikuntha beyond this world. He was taken to the abode of Sri Ramchandra in the spiritual world of Ayodhya. He had seen Dwarka, Mathura. And ultimately, Narada Muni sent him back to his own home, the Vrindavan of this world. And by his profound longing and his taking shelter of his mantra, he heard the sweet sound of Krishna's flute. He actually fell unconscious in uncontrollable love. And Shamsundar, Lord Sri Krishna, appeared there. And with his own loving hands, he removed the dust from Gopa Kumar's body. When Gopa Kumar smelled the fragrance of Krishna's body, it awakened him from his unconscious state. Janmadyasya yataha. Krishna is the source of everything. We have our five senses, and each and every one of these five senses can be so much mesmerized, even bewildered, intoxicated by a pleasure that comes to those senses. Krishna is all attractive. He is the source of all rasa and the source of all pleasure. In fact, the very name Rama that we chant every day means the limitless reservoir of all pleasure. And in every way, Krishna can completely conquer the hearts and the souls and the minds of the devotees by revealing himself. People like perfume. They like the smell of sweet flowers, of very, very well natural made incense. There are so many fragrances that people can enjoy. But Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that everything wonderful that we see, that we hear, that we taste, that we touch, or that we smell, everything, and all of it put together, is not even a single spark from the limitless sunshine of Krishna's opulences. Such beauty. When Gopa Kumar smelled the fragrance of Krishna's body, it awakened him. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his simple message was Jeev Jago, Goda Chandra Bole. Kota Nidra Jayo Maya Pisa Chira Kole. He's inviting everyone to wake up, because Krishna is not different than his name. Krishna has appeared in this world through all the various forms of bhakti. In the 9 processes of bhakti, Krishna is making himself personally, directly connectable, present. If we approach with sincerity, humility, and devotion. The all-pervading, inconceivable, unlimited, incredible sweetness of Krishna's fragrance wakened Gopa Kumar. And in his conscious state, he saw the beauty of Krishna's lotus face, with that wonderful hair curling around his moon-like face, his lotus-like eyes, his lips like the bimba fruit, his nose like a sesame flower, and a peacock feather adorning his head. His teeth like rows of pearls. Krishna gazed upon Gopa Kumar with tearful eyes, of love. Krishna is conquered by the sincere efforts of a devotee, and a devotee is totally conquered by the love of Krishna. And when Krishna reveals his beauty in all of these different ways to a devotee, really, what is that? Krishna's manifesting his love, because there's no difference between Krishna's love and Krishna's form. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Lord Brahma, he has created everything within this universe. He knows what creation is. And he's explaining that Krishna, his form is eternal, full of knowledge and full of limitless ananda or ecstasy. He's the cause of all causes, the source of everything. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. And everything in Krishna is inseparable from Krishna's love. Krishna's limitless love we see in the form of his beauty, in the sound of his flute, in the touch of his limitlessly merciful body. And in this way, his limitless love was being revealed in his beauty to Gopa Kumar. The fragrance, the sight of his beauty. And in the spiritual realm, everything is ever increasing. Nothing is stagnant. As all these experiences were increasing, Krishna played his flute. And then he disappeared. He disappeared in the sense that he just fled. He ran away. Gopa Kumar, after being with Krishna, he couldn't bear being without Krishna. He ran, chasing, looking for Krishna everywhere. There's a similar history of Lord Chaitanya. He took initiation from Ishwarapuri in the holy place of Gaya. And he was roaming looking for Krishna. Although Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna Nahi Anya, he is Radha and Krishna in the role of a devotee. He wanted to show the importance of being the servant of the servant of the servant, of receiving blessings, receiving instructions, receiving connection into the parampara. Lord Chaitanya didn't just do this as an example to show us, but it was a manifestation of his ecstasy for these great acharyas like Ishwara Puri and Madhavendra Puri and the parampara. When he was in a place, Kanai Natashala, he explained this later to Gadadhar Pandit and the devotees. In Kanai Natashala, which is a forest encircled by the river Ganga in Bengal, he saw Krishna. Krishna was standing before him playing his flute. And then Krishna disappeared. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, practically for the rest of his life, he was crying in separation, searching for Krishna from that experience. So here we find Gopa Kumar. He's tasting the sweetness of Krishna's presence. He's tasting the sweetness of Krishna's love for him. And it's manifesting in the beauty of Krishna's presence. And then Krishna disappears. This is in the Gokul of this earth. Gopa Kumar tells that he went searching for Krishna everywhere. He had no other thought in his mind, no other inclination in his heart. It was such a necessity. And he went to a particular grove. Is Krishna here? Srinivasacharya, in his prayers to the six Goswamis, he sings, He Radhe Brajadeva Ke Chalalite He Nanda Shuno Katha. That this was the nature of how the six Goswamis taught us to cultivate bhakti. Where is Krishna? Where is Sri Radha? Where are they? At Govardhan? Are they at Yamuna? Are they under a desire tree? Gopa Kumar, when the intensity of his anticipation for Krishna reached a culmination, he fell unconscious. He fell in the river Yamuna. As it was explained at our Govardhan Eco-Village parikrama just the day before yesterday, the Yamuna has descended from Goloka Vrindavan. It's an eternal place of Krishna and of Sri Radha and the Gopa and Gopis pastimes. It is liquid prema. The love of Sri Radha for Krishna, the love of Sri Krishna for Radha, the love of Sri Radha Gopinaths for all living beings is manifested as the flowing waters of the Yamuna. It is the embodiment of prem and giver of prem. Gopa Kumar fell unconscious, and at that time the Yamuna River was flowing very, very swiftly. And he was swept away in the current of the Yamuna. He was going so fast by the refreshing, cool, divine experience of the Yamuna all around him. He was submerged. He came back to consciousness. And suddenly he experienced that the river Yamuna was taking him somewhere. It was as if he was on a vehicle beyond Vaikuntha, beyond all the material and spiritual realm. He was brought to Goloka, Vrindavan. The same Vrindavan as the spiritual world. And there he found himself on the gateway of the home of Nanda Maharaj and all the Brijabasis. When he was there, he saw how each and every devotee, the residents of Vrindavan, they were completely succumbing to their love for Krishna. They had nothing else except love for Krishna. And just by seeing them and being blessed by them, he acquired that same love. And Krishna, understanding that he had come He was herding his cows along with Balaram and his friends. They were coming back into the village, and Krishna went to Gopa Kumar and lifted him up. Welcome home. He embraced Gopa Kumar. Gopa Kumar, in that embrace, he fainted. And Krishna, feeling the love of his devotee, Krishna fainted. Gopa Kumar came back to consciousness, but Krishna, he remained laying down in that fainted condition, overwhelmed by his devotee's love. And Sri Radha and the gopis, Sri Yashoda and Nanda, they all were wondering, who is this person who has done this to Krishna? And why? When Krishna came back to consciousness, of course, Krishna is the supreme source of all consciousness. This is all Leela of exchange, of devotional feelings. Krishna took Gopa Kumar home with him to have prasad and everything. In this way, Sanatana Goswami is giving us a hint of how Krishna is so grateful for every devotee who returns to his loving service. It is explained that each Gopa and each Gopi in Vrindavan, they feel that I belong to Krishna and Krishna belongs to me. Krishna can make every devotee feel unique. Because if we're all part and parcel of Krishna, we are unique. Just try to grasp this truth. When we hear about the beauty and the wonders of Krishna's pastimes and his infinite love and its minute manifestations in the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this entire cosmos. That's just like a little fraction of the way Krishna is manifesting his glory. His ultimate glory in the spiritual world has nothing to do with creation or destruction. It only has to do with his love for his devotees and exchange. You are part and parcel of Krishna. Qualitatively, you are one with Krishna. What is the value of your life? It's unestimatable to be a part of Krishna. Infinitesimal. When we speak that Krishna he is unlimited, and each part and parcel, each jiva is infinitesimal. An infinitesimal part of Krishna is limitlessly greater than everything in the entire existence. That's Krishna. And within the nature of this jiva who is part and parcel of Krishna, our bhava, our love is part and parcel of Sri Radha's love for Krishna. How unlimited, how glorious, how intimate. That's who we are. And nothing could take that away. Even if we're in the body of a little worm crawling in the ground, even if we're in the body of a mosquito causing harm to others, whatever caste, whatever race, whatever sex, whatever species, wherever there's life, even if we're in a tree or a weed, They do not change the truth that we're part and parcel of Krishna, and that love for Krishna is within us. Sri Radha's love. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Sravanadi Sudhi Chiti Koriya Yudoi. By associating with those who love Krishna and those who are aspiring to love Krishna and hearing and chanting the names and glories of Krishna, this love is awakened. In this way, by the mercy of Narada Muni and so many other great souls, Gopa Kumar realized his eternal identity in Goloka Vrindavan. And interestingly, at that time, he understood that there's no difference between Goloka and Gokula. It's the same. Krishna's in both places simultaneously forever. One day, Sanatana Goswami explains, Kaliya returned to Vrindavan. We know the story from Srimad Bhagavatam told by Sukadev Goswami, the story of Kaliya. Well, sometime after that, Kaliya returned. And Sanatana Goswami describes that Krishna's leelas are not bound or limited by anything or anyone. Krishna could, if Krishna wants to have fun with his devotees and increase his devotees' love, Krishna could perform any leela, anytime, any way. Not only can he, but he does. We're given a certain explanation in chronological order in the Vishnu Purana and the Srimad Bhagavatam. But actually, Krishna's a bigya and he's Swarat, he's unlimited and he's totally free and independent to do anything, anytime, any way. And he does. Krishna was herding his cows with his friends on the bank of Yamuna when he heard Kaliya had returned. I just heard a lecture of Srila Prabhupada, and he describes in such a special way that Krishna has many purposes he fulfills through anything he does. Each and every day, various asuras or demons would come to Vrindavan. And there are many explanations. Krishna tells in Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. And also Lord Brahma and the Devatas were praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, please appear and remove the burden of the world of all these demoniac people who are causing so much fear and suffering. So that's one reason Krishna comes. But in Vrindavan, Krishna's primary reason for dealing with these asuras is very simple: to increase the love of his devotees. Therefore, whether it's Putana or Trinavarta or Agasura or Keshi or Aristasura or Pralambasura or Dhenukasura, actually they're all coming by Krishna's Yogamaya potency to increase the love of his devotees. It creates such a sense of excitement. And to make the excitement very full and rich, and the intimacy of the love, Krishna is not perceived as God by the Brijavasis. He's just perceived as the person who has totally stolen their hearts with love. Yashoda Mai, she is so much afraid that when Krishna goes into the pastures, a stone may cause pain to his bare feet. If I don't feed Krishna my own milk, he may get sick. He may die. This is the mood of the Brijavasis to Krishna. And when these incredibly monstrous, gigantic, supernaturally powerful beings would come to Vrindavan, just by their movement, they would create earthquakes. And they would attack Krishna. How much suspense is there? Seeing Krishna in a dangerous situation increased their love. In this lifetime, I've never had the opportunity to be a mother to a child, but I can imagine, I see mothers with their little children. And when a child is in a apparently desperate situation, the love of the mother becomes uncontrollably, wildly concerned. When everything's all right, a mother can be thinking of other things. But when the child is calling out in a difficult situation, the mother can absolutely not think for even a moment except in love for the child. Why do we love anyone in this world? Because that person is part and parcel of Krishna. They're lovable. And Krishna himself, with his full-fledged divine beauty and love, is manifesting. So when Krishna is in a dangerous situation, everyone in Vrindavan, whether it be the animals or the trees or the birds or the elder or the younger gopas and gopis, everyone is fixed intensely in uncontrollable love. And in this way, the asuras in Vrindavan, it's all just Krishna's Leela. It's all just Krishna's game to give incredible variegatedness to ever-increasing loving relationships. So when Krishna heard that Kaliya had returned to that same place, the same lake, and now that same lake was again bubbling with deathly poison, so much so that anything around it dried up and died. Even a bird that flew overhead could not survive. Krishna went alone. He left all his Gopa friends and he ran to the Yamuna lake and dived in the water. In this most deathly poisonous water, he went right in, underwater, came back up. And when he did, he created such waves that the lake was overflooding. And the source of all that poison was Kaliya. He emerged. Now, Sanatana Goswami describes how everything is ever fresh, and Krishna is Navayovanam cha. He's ever new. So his pastimes are also ever new. Kaliya came back, but absorbed in the Leela by Krishna's arrangement, he forgot he was ever there before. And even the Brijabasis, they had just experienced sometime before this whole pastime of Kaliya, but Yoga Maya makes everything so perfect, they all forgot that it ever happened. And now it was happening again, but in newer and even more relishable ways. Inauspicious omens permeated the area. So Brijabasis, Krishna's friends, the little cowherd boys, they began to follow Krishna's footprints, along with the cows and the calves. And they came to the lake. And there they saw, for the first time again, they saw Krishna in the coils of Kaliya. And he looked so helpless. Kali was so gigantic, so monstrous. He had 1,000 hoods. And Gopal, his very soft, tender body it looked like he was being crushed and strangled by Kaliya. And that's what Kaliya was trying to do. But Krishna just was patiently in that situation. And the cowherd boys all fell unconscious. The cows and the calves fell unconscious. The trees were drying up. They couldn't bear it. Birds in the sky were diving into the water to try to help Krishna. It was at that time that Krishna told one old Brijabasi, "Go to the house of my mother and father and tell them what's happening. Because they're going to be seeing these omens and they don't know what's going on. Tell them that this is where I am." And he was the only one who could preserve his consciousness, being awake, because Krishna empowered him. And even though the Brijabasis were gradually running out of their homes, what happened? Is there some danger to Krishna? When that old man said, "Krishna is in the coils of a serpent," they came running to that place, falling down in worry. It was pathetic. And Balaram did not want his mother, Rohini, to see Krishna in that situation. He told her, "You stay home and I will make sure everything is all right." And then he came running. And when he came to the lake, he saw Nanda, Yashoda, and all the Brijabasis. They couldn't see Krishna in that situation. They were all in an unconscious state. And Balaram himself fainted. Even he could not bear it. And when they all awakened to external consciousness again, seeing Krishna, Nanda, and Yashoda, they went to go into the lake to protect Krishna. And if they couldn't protect Krishna, let me die of the poison. But Balaramji, he held them with his arms so that they wouldn't go in. The situation was so pathetic. Balaram saw all the animals weeping and crying, gazing at Krishna. And Balaram called out to Krishna that my dear brother, these are not residents of Vaikuntha. These are not residents of Ayodhya. These are not Yadus. These are Brijabasis. They're simple people who are completely depending on you. They are all on the verge of death, seeing you in this situation. Please, come out of this condition. And Krishna saw the gopis. The love of their hearts was in such a inflamed condition. Their tears, their cries of sorrow, all the gopis were rushing into the lake. At that time, Krishna understood they were either going to save him or they were going to give up their lives. In reciprocation to that love, Krishna expanded himself slightly, slipped out of the coils of Kaliya, and jumped on top of his hood. And seeing the gopis running toward the lake, Krishna smiled, reached out his arms, and personally lifted each gopi onto the hood of Kaliya with him. And to make them happy, Krishna danced, inspiring the gopis to dance. And as Kaliya was moving his hoods in so many ways, Krishna and gopis performed their Rasa Leela on the top of Kaliya's hoods. Devotees were playing musical instruments, showering flowers, as Krishna and gopis danced with such love. And serpents' heads are very slippery. And in no place of a serpent's head is there flatness. It's all curved and slippery. And Kaliya's hoods were never still. They were moving, sometimes violently. Yet Krishna and gopis were having the most enjoyable, blissful experience having Rasa Leela together. And one beautiful secret of this story is nobody saw it. Because during the Rasa Leela, Nanda, Yashoda, and all the older gopas and gopis and all the cowherd boys, they were in an unconscious state. So Sri Krishna and Sri Radha and the Braja gopis could fully have their exchanges of love and complete privacy on Kaliya's hoods. The dancing, the music. And when Nanda and Yashoda and the other Brijabasis came back to consciousness, the gopis remained on the hoods, just standing. And it was at that time that Krishna saw the Nagapatnis, the wives, the consorts of Kaliya, offering prayers of such humility and compassion for Krishna to be merciful to Kaliya. He lived his whole life filled with envy and hatred. but because you danced on his heads with your beautiful, merciful lotus feet. And because now he's conquered by you. Look, our husband is taking shelter of you. Please be merciful. Krishna, in this circumstance, he saw that the Nagapatnis were wearing shawls. He asked for their shawls. He took them and strung them together and made it into a rein, like you put on horses, and put it over the face of Kaliya. And in this way, he started riding Kaliya like a horse. Kaliya became his carrier. He gave him the exact same service as Garuda, the greatest Vaishnav. In this way, Kaliya was in bliss and Krishna was in bliss, and the gopis were getting this incredible ride. They were in bliss, and Nanda and Yashoda and all the Brijabasis were in bliss to see Kaliya. He was smiling, he was crying in happiness. He became Trinada Bisunichena. He was more humble than a blade of grass. And when Krishna finally sent Kaliya into the ocean with his family members, and actually at one point, after all of this, the Nagapatnis offered Krishna wonderful gifts of jewels and cloths and flowers, sandalwood. And what did Krishna do with it? The first thing he did is he decorated Kaliya with love. And then he decorated all the gopis who were on the hoods with him. And then he accepted some of those gifts for himself and sent them to the ocean. One day, Akrura. This is a story that has a similar bhava or spiritual experience of love in imminent separation and love in separation. And how it is very, very unique in the land of Vrindavan, the highest realm of the spiritual world. In Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world where the Lord is appearing as Narayan or other manifestations, there is a supreme ecstasy of being with God. In Sri Goloka, Sri Gokula, that there is a supreme most ecstasy of being with God, even in feelings of being without him. Ever increasing. Kamsa was feeling so much hatred. He was obsessed with fear of Krishna. He had sent so many of the most powerful beings in the universe to destroy Krishna. And yegatamam prapatyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. They came to destroy Krishna, they were destroyed by Krishna. Krishna reciprocates as we approach him. So he wanted to bring Krishna to his own place. Even in sports, there's considered a certain advantage to be in your home rather than visiting some other place. There's a certain strength because your own people are there cheering for you and everything like that. Where in Vrindavan, everyone was cheering for Krishna. So Kamsa told Akrura bring Krishna to Mathura. I'm arranging a wrestling match by which Krishna will be killed. Akrura was a great devotee. Akrura is one of the examples of the 9 processes of devotional service, bandhana, our prayers. But as we find in the scriptures, not everything is always just black and white understandings. There's so many shades of devotion. Bhishma fought against Krishna, and yet he's a Mahajan, one of the greatest devotees of Krishna, who attained the highest perfection. When Haridas Thakur departed from this world, he was the Namacharya, the intimate, most loved disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya would visit him every day. When Haridas Thakur left this world, he was gazing at the beautiful moon-like face of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Lord Chaitanya's feet embraced to his heart, and with all of the most loving associates of Lord Chaitanya loudly chanting the holy names. And Haridas himself crying out, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. By his own sweet will, he left. The most glorious passing in the history of creation. And yet Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees, at the moment he departed from this world, they all thought, this is just like Bhishma. So what is the glory of Bhishma? But yet Bhishma was on the wrong side. He was on the Kurus, fighting against Krishna and his devotees by Krishna's arrangement. So Akrura, under the rule of Kamsa, so many people of the Yadu dynasty, they were put in prison. Devaki, Vasudev, even the king of the Yadus and Bhojas, Ugrasena, was put in prison. The father of Kamsa. And many others, they fled to other kingdoms. They went into hiding. They couldn't tolerate it. But Akrura stayed because he understood he had a service. How much he had to suffer living with Kamsa. We cannot imagine the tolerance of such a devotee. He was misunderstood. He was cursed. He was in the association of those who hated God, who were blaspheming God. How could he have done it? But he understood this was Krishna's plan for him. He wanted to be there to see Krishna do all these things, and Krishna wanted him there. So Kamsa ordered Akrura, you take my chariot and you go. When Akrura was going to Vrindavan, he was anticipating being with Krishna and Balaram and all the Brijabasis, and he was so happy, but at the same time he was feeling this pain in his heart that they're going to know why I'm going. What are they going to think of me? But still, he did it. And when he saw the footprints of Krishna and Balaram, he fell on the ground, weeping tears of ecstasy. And he arrived in Vrindavan in the evening. And in the morning, that evening actually, the Brijabasis, they understood why Akrura was coming. How they cried. How they couldn't bear that Akrura was coming on behalf of Kamsa to take Krishna away. We must stop this. In the morning, Akrura met with Nanda Maharaj. and convinced Nanda Maharaj, you should let Krishna go with me. In fact, you could come also. It's a necessity. Please understood, the Yadu dynasty are Krishna's devotees too. They love Krishna. He's their only shelter. They have been persecuted and tortured and filled with anxiety for so many years by Kamsa. And Krishna's the only one who could liberate the world from Kamsa. You must let him come. Nanda Maharaj was so brokenhearted by the idea, but he was convinced by Akrura. Nanda Maharaj then went, Yashoda Mai, meanwhile, when she understood what was happening, she went into hiding with her little Krishna. Embracing him, she went to a secret hiding place, and in case anybody found, she took a piece of cloth, a large piece of cloth, and put it over Krishna's body so that they wouldn't see him. But Nanda Maharaj came, and he explained to Yashoda Mai that this is something only Krishna can do. There's so many devotees, so many people who love Krishna who are suffering. We must trust Akrura. Yashoda Mai did not trust, but she accepted. Then Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai brought Krishna and put him in the presence of Akrura. Yashoda Mai took Krishna's hand and put it in Akrura's hand. And then she spoke to Nanda Maharaj that I am holding you fully responsible, that you must make sure Krishna is protected, you must be with him at all times, and you must bring him back immediately. Nanda Maharaj promised. At that time, the gopis, their tears, their hearts in such a broken state became very angry with Yashoda Mai. With raised voices of love, they said, what are you doing? You are taking an innocent calf and giving him to a tiger. Even in the animal world, a cow will never offer her newborn calf to a tiger. But that's exactly what you are doing by giving Krishna to Akrura. How could this be? Better our houses all burn and we are all finished. Yashoda Mai was so overwhelmed that with tears in her eyes, she just went home. And meanwhile, the stones were crying. The trees were crying. They were drying up. The peacocks were crying. The birds were crying. All the Brijabasis were crying. And seeing this, even Akrura started crying. And Balaram started crying. And Krishna was crying. They were standing on the chariot of Akrura, just about to go. And hearing the pathetic calls of the gopis and seeing their tears and seeing them dropping to the ground, unable to even bear living, Krishna's heart was so moved that he jumped off the chariot And he lovingly brought the gopis back to a state of awareness. And as he was wiping the tears from their eyes, he was wiping the tears from his own eyes and took them to a secluded grove to be alone with them. There they were having loving exchanges. In the presence of the gopis, Krishna could not leave Vrindavan. Suddenly, Akrura and Balaram, who were on the chariot, they were so bewildered by this situation of the exchanges of affection that Akrura understood what happened. How to fulfill this mission at this time when Krishna is completely under the control of the gopis' love. Krishna spoke to Balaram because he knew only Balaram would be able to help. In fact, Akrura had no idea where Krishna even went, but he knew that Balaram could find him. Balaram was completely sympathetic to the love of the gopis and Krishna. But Akrura, he appealed. He said, your mother, your father, Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna's mother and father, Vasudeva and Devaki, they're in prison. Kamsa's mighty sword is about to come down to sever their heads. They've lived so many years in fear, in torture, in turmoil. And Kamsa, if I don't bring Krishna back, he's going to kill them mercilessly. What to speak of Ugrasena? What to speak of the other Yadus? Don't you see how they're suffering? Don't you see how they're about to die? There is no one and nothing except Krishna's coming that could save them. Just like everyone here, they have completely surrendered their lives in total dependence on Krishna. They're Krishna's devotees. How could you allow this to happen? Bring Krishna to Mathura. Hearing of his own father, Vasudeva, and Devaki, and all of their sufferings, Balaram's heart melted. He was convinced, yes, I will help you. Balaram began to look at the earth and found Krishna's footprints, and Balaram and Akrura came to the grove where Krishna was alone with the Braja Gopis. At that time, Akrura, he spoke in a voice so that Krishna and gopis could all hear him. He spoke about the condition of Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna, they're your devotees. How they have suffered. Vasudeva and Devaki are your mother and father. Don't you care for them? You must come and save them. Kamsa's nothing for you to kill. Please come. But Krishna was so much under the control of the gopis, he could not hear what Akrura was saying. And it was then that Akrura put straw between his teeth and fell prostrated in bowing down obeisances to the feet of the gopis and begged them to be merciful to Vasudeva and Devaki and the members of the Yadu dynasty, who are the loving family of Krishna. The gopis, in the sweet mood of their love and imminent separation, they expressed anger toward Akrura. Akrura, you are a cheat. Those people that you are saying are not the mother and father of Krishna. Nanda and Yashoda are the mother and father of Krishna, and we know this. Why are you telling these lies? Vasudeva and Devaki, the danger that they're in is something for the future, the uncertain future. But the Brijabasis, the danger is now. If you bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura to try to resolve something that may happen in the future, you will be the murderer of all the residents of Gokul. We will die now. How, Akrura, can you be so cruel, so merciless? Do not you see what you are doing? Meanwhile, Krishna was so much moved by his love for his devotees. He could feel how all the residents of Mathura, the Yadus, were so much helplessly, lovingly taking shelter of him. And he understood that he must go. He promised gopis that, please don't worry about me, because Kamsa is insignificant. I will defeat him effortlessly. You have nothing to worry, and I will be back very soon. But don't cry, because I have to go and you're making my departure inauspicious. The gopis could not accept that Kamsa is not so easy to defeat. He's very powerful. And beside that, there are so many other asuras, accomplices of Kamsa. And even if you do, even if you do defeat him, then the Yadu dynasty, your devotees there, they will not allow you to leave so easily. But Krishna promised. And it was at that time that Akrura ran to get the chariot. And in a great rush, he brought the chariot to that kunja, that grove in Vrindavan, where Krishna was with gopis. And hearing the situation that was going on, Karuna Ras, all the Brijabasis, everyone came to that grove in a secluded place in the forest of Vrindavan. Yashoda Mai came out of her house. Nanda Maharaj was there. All the older gopis, all the cowherd boys, all the animals of Vrindavan. Everyone was there, gathered around the chariot, as Krishna and Balaram and Akrura boarded that carrier. And this particular scene, Srila Sanatana Goswami describes, it shouldn't even be heard, but yet it's irresistibly heard because it's a pastime that so beautifully describes the supreme glory of Vrindavan and Krishna's love for the residents of Vrindavan. When Krishna was standing in the chariot, the peacocks, the parrots, the birds in the sky, the sounds of their voices were a heartbreaking cry. and all of their eyes were filled with torrents of tears. The deers, the calves, the cows, the bulls, all of the animals of Vrindavan, the goats and the sheep and even the wild animals were all gathered around, gazing with unblinking eyes at Krishna. Just their glances were yearning and crying, Krishna, don't go. Krishna's mother, father, Yashoda, Nanda, and all of their family and friends and the whole community were in such a state. Even the leaves of the trees were shedding like tears. It is described that this state, even stones would cry, and even lightning bolts would shatter, seeing the emotions of love between Krishna and his devotees. When Krishna saw this and felt this, he was crying incessantly, and he was having difficulty by his own sweet will, overcome by the love of his devotees, of even standing up. And it appeared that he was about to get off the chariot again. At that moment, Akrura went behind Krishna and it appeared to everyone that he was holding Krishna up from falling. But actually, he was holding Krishna from getting down from the chariot. In that state, Nanda Maharaj understood what was happening. And Akrura, he saw the gopis and the other residents of Vrindavan in such a helpless, pathetic state. Some were laying their bodies under the wheels of the chariot. Some were prostrating themselves in front of the hooves of the horses. All were crying. Some could not maintain their consciousness. It was tears and cries and fainting all around. In that state, Akrura cracked the whip and very rapidly moved the chariot forward. He was so expert. He was constantly dodging the various bodies that were laid in front of him, so he did not hurt anyone, and he drove away. Nanda Maharaj boarded his ox carts, his bull-driven carriers, and along with Sri Dama and cowherd boys and some of the cows, Nanda Maharaj promised Yashoda, I will bring Krishna back. I know that none of us could live without Krishna. Do you think I will allow Krishna to stay for even one extra moment? Impossible. We will go, we will do our business. Krishna will save the Yadus, his devotees. He will release Nanda and Yashoda and give them happiness. And then I will bring Krishna back. Yasoda Mai, she insisted that Nanda Maharaj, the most honest of all people, give his solemn vow. He did. And they all headed for Mathura. Srila Prabhupada explains as Akrura's chariot was leaving, the residents of Vrindavan watched and until all they could see was the dust in the air behind the chariot. And even then, they just staring. Krishna's gone, waiting for Krishna to return. They were in a state as if they were about to cry for the rest of their lives. Such love. Akrura wanted to cheer up Krishna, so he brought him to a particular ghat on the banks of the Yamuna. Today it is called Akrura Ghat, because he knew that previously when Krishna was in the abode of Varuna to save his father, Sri Nanda Maharaj, when he returned to Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj was telling the Brijabasis the incredible elegance of the abode of Varuna and how Varuna was worshiping their child Krishna. And they were wondering, who is this Krishna? And what is our destination? So Krishna brought him to this ghat on the bank of the Yamuna and revealed to all the Brijabasis Goloka Vrindavan. They entered into Yamuna, and when they came out, they were seeing Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world. And the descriptions are wonderful. What was so amazing to the Brijabasis is they saw that Goloka Vrindavan, the highest realm of love in the spiritual world, was actually the same as the Gokul Vrindavan that they were living. In fact, the same people were there that were here, and the same pastimes that are taking place there are taking place here. But the only difference is we're here, and we love Krishna as our own child. So in this way, Krishna gave the residents of Vrindavan a view of the spiritual world, and the more they understood what Goloka Vrindavan was, the more they felt fortunate to be where they were. And this is a very beautiful meditation, because the more we understand the pastimes of Krishna, the more we understand the beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan in the spiritual world, in this world, the more we could be grateful that this is what we're all being given. The more we hear of Krishna's beauty, his pastimes, his glories, and his loving devotees, Sri Radha, the more we could feel grateful by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and our acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, and by the mercy of each other as a Vaishnava community. This is what we've been given. The only thing that's separating us is our will to make this treasure our life and soul. To wake up and recognize the gift. And we are out of time, I believe. Akrura brought Krishna to Mathura. And there Krishna performed wonderful leelas. Sudama the florist, he gave the bent, because Sudama offered Krishna whatever flowers and garlands he had. He offered everything he had for Krishna, and Krishna gave Sudama such a benediction that he would have all of his desires fulfilled in this world, and after this world, he would go to the spiritual world where all his desires would be fulfilled forever. He gave him ecstatic love. And Kubja and Kuvala Yapida. And after Krishna quite effortlessly liberated Kamsa, then Nanda Maharaj he approached Krishna, now we must go back. It was my promise to the Prajapatis that you will come back immediately after killing Kamsa. But Vasudeva and Devaki were pleading with Krishna, please stay. You're our child. We've been without you for so long. And besides that, now that Kamsa's gone, it's even more dangerous because Jarasandha, his father-in-law, and others who are with their armies are going to attack Mathura. We need you here. And the Yadus were crying, Krishna, don't go now, please. Vasudeva said to Nanda Maharaj, actually, we both love Krishna. And Krishna needs to be initiated by a guru. He needs a good education. I will send him to Avanti Desh, to the ashram of Sandipani Muni, when he can get an education. He won't be in either Mathura or Vrindavan, but then he'll come to Vrindavan. And Krishna told Nanda Maharaj that the residents of the Yadus, they need me. Don't you see them? They have helplessly taken shelter. I must protect them. Go back to Vrindavan and tell all the residents that I will be back soon. Nanda Maharaj was beside himself. To Krishna, he said, how can I tell this to them? They're only living with the hope that you will return with me. How could I return without you? I've given my promise. But it was Krishna's will. Krishna broke his promise to fulfill Arjuna's promise in Kurukshetra, that love. And now, ultimately, Nanda Maharaj gave his promise, but ultimately whatever is dear to Krishna, he must do. Sridama, the brother of Srimati Radharani and the dearmost friend of Krishna, he said, how can you send us back without you? Don't you know that the gopis, they cannot bear your separation. They will die. Every day we have heard from them. Every day when we're out in the pastures together, they're just waiting for you to return. The only thing that keeps them alive, they have told us, is knowing that in a few hours you will return from the pastures. If there's no understanding when you will return, everyone will die in separation from you, Krishna. Krishna was crying for all of his devotees. But at the same time, such a condition. How could he leave Vasudeva and Devaki and the Yadus in such a perilous condition? He sent them home. And Nanda Maharaj, with the elder cowherd men and Sridama and cowherd boys, they took that lonely journey back to Gokul. And when they came to the outskirts of Gokul Vrindavan, there was a great festival. Krishna's returning. It was for certain. Nanda Maharaj has promised. We see Nanda Maharaj's chariot. That means Krishna, he has returned. Because in those days, news was not like it is today. They did not know that what happened with Kamsa or what happened in Mathura. All they knew is Krishna's back. And when Nanda Maharaj arrived, he couldn't look at anyone. He felt so broken-hearted and ashamed. Without saying a word to anyone, he went to his house and just laid down. And all the cowherd men and all the cowherd boys that went to Mathura with him, they did the same thing. They could not speak a word. No one could bear this news. They all just went to their houses and laid down. And seeing the situation, the residents of Vrindavan realized Krishna and Balaram have not come. In this way, they entered into a state of love and separation. They were nourished by their love in separation. In fact, later on in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, or in a previous place actually, Krishna tells Narada Muni and others that the reason I did not return to Vrindavan is because the love of the Brijabasis were at such an ever-increasing peak of love, of ecstasy, that I did not want to interrupt it. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he chose that mood of Sri Radharani after Krishna went to Mathura as the very mood that he cultivated as the highest ecstasy of unconditional, unmotivated, selfless love. Because in that love, in the heart of a devotee, Krishna is most present. Krishna is most manifesting himself. These are stories and these are truths that are so far beyond any of our realizations or imaginations. But they're given to us to appreciate, to aspire for, with grateful hearts to hold these truths of love of Vrindavan as the highest pedestal of our aspirations. Something we cannot achieve by our memorization, by our intelligence, by our knowledge, by our austerities, by the acts that we perform. It is only when Sri Radharani, Sri Krishna are merciful to reveal these truths to us by their grace can they be truly appreciated and realized. When devotees hear these stories, our appreciation and our humility are meant to become deeper and deeper. And when we treasure the invaluable treasure of this prema dana, this love, then we humble ourselves and surrender ourselves, knowing how unqualified we are. And when we truly have that mood, Krishna gives us that love. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is what he came to the world for. This narration is giving us a glimpse into the glories of Vrindavan. In fact, when Krishna was in Mathura, he sent his dearmost associate Uddhava to Vrindavan. He even gave Uddhava his clothes to wear so that they would know that he was coming as a representative of Krishna. And Uddhava, who was with Krishna day and night in Mathura, when he saw the love of the Brijabasis, even in separation, he understood, I have no love at all in compared to them. He was praying that rather than be with Krishna as his loving associate day and night in Mathura, he'd rather be a blade of grass in Vrindavan, where the gopas and the gopis and the cows and the calves and the peacocks will step on his head with their feet. And by serving in that most humble way, their blessings, he can taste that love too. Why does Uddhava want to taste that love? Because he knows that nothing is more pleasing to Krishna. This is Vrindavan. This is the Vrindavan that we are remembering today, and we are, through the process of hearing in a prayerful mood, we are enshrining this Vrindavan in our hearts. Interesting, the gopis cried and prayed to Krishna, if you're going to Mathura, take us with you. And Nanda Maharaj, he prayed and cried in Mathura, just let us stay with you. Why is it that even in separation, none of the Brijabasis left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, to go to Dwarka, to be with Krishna? It wasn't really so far. It's because Vrindavan is the land that gives the most pleasure to Krishna. Krishna wanted the Brijabasis to stay in Vrindavan because that's where they would experience the deepest love for him, and that's where he would experience the deepest love for them. That is the glory of Vrindavan. Our beloved Srila Prabhupada has given us Vrindavan. Whatever inconceivable, unexpected, or expected conditions may take place in this world or among the people in this world, the only thing that's really important is that we live in the spirit of Vaishnavas and share this great treasure with each other. This is what Harinam Sankirtan is. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates taught us this Sankirtan. They gave us the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they taught us the idea of unity in diversity. And a culminating effect of unity and diversity is the various ways devotees are trying to serve Krishna. We each have our own unique nature, our own unique mood. We've all been through our own unique experiences of life, and we can have so many experiences of agreements and disagreements. But our mission, our purpose, is to share Krishna with each other. And when we do, we're in Vrindavan. I thank you very much.
enlivening narration. And we hope all of you would join tomorrow also. So now I would like to uh, request His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to lead us in Kirtan. Maharaj is just offline for a few seconds. He will join soon. Maharaj, there are no announcements from the GV departments, so we can have Kirtan now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. With His Grace Shamananda Prabhu being the MC of this event, I really feel that this virtual is not different than Vrindavan.
Maharaj, I am doing more announcements here than the physical yatra.
That means our experience of Vrindavan is ever increasing. Thank you very much. Let us chant with great feeling and gratitude. Let us take shelter of Krishna and Sri Radha in their holy names. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. If I could hear, then I know when to continue. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatharine.
Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatharine.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.